Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Downloadable Opinions, episode 4, part 4 now? Yep, that's right. I'm Brian Best, and joining me, as always, the wonderful, talented, villainous, crazy Adam the what's-his-face? That's from the Ubisoft one.
It is Adam Mick what's-his-face. It is not, it's Mick. You have to get that right.
Mick what's-his-face. Okay. Alright, whatever. Anyways, guys, this time we're talking about Sony's E3 press conference, their keynote address. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about here. But Adam, you caught some of the pre-show bits, so why don't we talk about that first?
Because you watched it at 9. The pre-show was on at 8:30. And this was a really awkward one for me. And there are 4 things that I have to talk about. The first one is it really reminded me a lot of the red carpet. It really felt like it. They were all in nice suits and dresses. They were always talking to they were always talking to this one person. Then they go to this guy over here, and then they go to a shot inside the theater, and then they go back to this guy. I'm like, really, guys? Like, you're not trying to spoof this or what? 2, I'll give my only good thing. Actually, well, 2, but they had this game called Sound Shapes come out for I think it was for the Vita and the PS3.
Yep.
And basically, it's almost like it's a music maker, but it's something that even the most talentless musician can do. You literally just pull up a sound and you tap where you want it, and it eventually, I think it actually turns into a level from what I saw.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you actually jump, and as you get further into the level, the music plays more and more.
That's kind of
And this guy made a quick one in about 3 minutes, and that sounded pretty nice. I'm sure he's had a lot of time at the game, but if you can do that in 3 minutes, that's pretty cool. Imagine what you can do with an hour.
Yeah. Just going off on the red carpet stuff a little bit, I mean, gaming has gotten quite big, and
But it's
I can see why...
I guess in this first time, it feels really weird.
Yeah, but I can see why Sony wants to make it that kind of level of prestige, you know what I'm saying?
Here's the problem with that prestige, though. Their big guests, for the most part, were members of the Tester judging crew. And if anybody has watched the Tester reality show from Sony, why did you watch it? And 2, I think you're lying because nobody watched it. The only time that this show ever got airplay was for the first 3 episodes of Season 3 because Egoraptor starred into it. And I know I talked about EA earlier with Mass Effect 3, I was going to do a radical rant. There's going to be a radical rant on this one too because I'm very frustrated at the Tester, and I have to let that out.
Sorry, I just had a fart.
Okay, I'm going to just take a second here, and we're good to go. But
we have professionalism on this podcast. Just want to point that out. Sorry.
Well, remember, I'm already Adam Mick what's-his-face.
Mick
So we're already making fun of me now because of something I already made in the last one. But I'm sorry, but I don't care that this guy was from the Tester. And I'll explain in my radical rant that will come out at some point this week why I don't care. Because there are a lot of personal reasons and a lot of just real rage-worthy reasons for it. But it just made no sense. There were a bunch of unknown people. I mean, really, like, if you were not a Sony fan and you watched this presentation, you were like, who the fuck's this guy?
Yeah.
Who's this guy?
Why do we care about these people?
But the worst part is for about 2 minutes, they had a massive, and I mean massive, audio and video fuck-up. They completely screwed up the mics when Sly Cooper's new game was coming, and they were showing it off.
Oh, yeah?
And I used to love Sly Cooper, and this has offended me more because of it. But not only did they screw up the audio, they eventually started cutting to random shots of the theater that made no sense. You're sitting there thinking, guys, you're trying to present a game, aren't you? And they finally corrected it, but at that point, they've already finished talking about the game, and they're showing it off now.
E3 always has one. I think last year was with Miyamoto showing off Skyward Sword, and the Wiimote dies on him.
I'm even though this is Nintendo, can I just say one thing? How many times has Miyamoto spoke at these things? Like every year.
Every year since.
How is it that he's not learned English at this point? If he keeps speaking at these things, I'm sorry, but it's really awkward listening to a translator when he speaks.
It is a little bit.
Because he's on the mic that goes to the web feed, and it overrides Miyamoto, so you can barely hear his voice, even though it's in Japanese and you can't understand it. But it's kind of I feel almost sorry for him that he's getting overridden by just some random guy that's making no money translating.
You know what? Regardless, I mean, even if he doesn't speak the language, he makes amazing games.
He does. So we give him the pass. But anyway, that was the pre-show. It just showed off Sound Shapes and Sly Cooper. It's nice because I didn't even think about this till now. Sound Shapes is made in Toronto.
Oh, really?
So it was nice to see some Canadian representation.
Nice local represent.
But anyway, I don't know what it is with Sony and montages.
I really like this one.
I'm sorry, it was a little too long.
It was long.
It needed to be 2 minutes tops. It was like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous.
It was
because it kept going. I'm sitting there thinking, guys, you have stuff to present. Let's move.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, it was the cliche dubstep with the extra punk rocky track.
And mixed up with a little bit of vocals from Sony stars like Solid Snake and Nathan Drake and stuff like that. I will say that, you know, they did pay homage to the Michael commercial that came out, and they talked about that and whatever was going on. I will say that Sony, I think his name is Jeff, who is the...
Jeff Trenton?
Jeff Trenton. They have a little more brand awareness with their guys. I mean, he is the Reggie of Sony.
Yeah.
And I will say that Sony's got kind of that down pat, really.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that. Microsoft, I don't think, needs the kind of faces because they have the better games.
They let the platform speak for itself.
I mean, of course, like when Reggie came out for Nintendo's press conference, he got a big applause because everybody loves Reggie when he talks.
Exactly. Nintendo, we'll get to that in their podcast.
But there was no Kevin Butler again this year, which I was disappointed by.
I think he's fired. I don't know.
I don't know the story, but either way, like, it's just sad that they don't have anybody funny anymore. Because that's what Sony got so much attention for. The Kevin Butler videos were just, that was the thing.
I think you know what killed him? Michael did. Michael killed Kevin Butler.
Well, that's
the name of this podcast.
They said Michael killed him. Michael got 1 million views in the first week.
Yeah, 100 million or something.
No, it was 10 million.
It's 10 million. Week. Yeah, it was a lot of views.
What you think about thinking how many people must have watched this video again and again because it was a good.
It got you right here. It got you right in the chest, and it was like
it was kind of funny seeing the lightning girl which had the ridiculous pink hair. I was like, wow, that's not fake.
Yeah, no, just seeing everything. The Michael, it really made you feel something for gaming. You know?
It made you feel like you were important.
You saw all your heroes and stuff like that.
I know they did a redo of it for Kevin Butler too, so he was still around when Michael was out.
Yeah.
But
I think that's what happened to Kevin. Anyways, let's get into the actual meat of the stuff.
Yeah, that was 7 minutes and we talked about nothing.
Beyond the next game from Quantic Dream, which has made Heavy Rain and Indigo Prophecy, both really, really story-driven games that basically. Not so much on the action side, but it really gets you emotionally into the story, pretty much. This game looks to be exactly the same way. It's the story is completely, crazy with all this kind of stuff. They bring it out as talking about life and death, and that we don't know what comes after death. And then if you play this game, you will get a more insight into it.
Before we talk about that, did you actually end up seeing the Kara vignette that they put on?
Yes, I did. That was really cool.
That was really emotional.
I watched that, a couple times over and over again, and it 30, it must have been a couple minutes, but it made you really feel something for the characters that were in it.
I was sitting there thinking, man, that needs to be a character in something. Cause
that needs to be a game. That needs to be a story.
Even though it was technically a robot, you felt like she was full human.
Yeah. It was really, really cool.
That was a really dramatic.
And that lends to Quantic Dream's storytelling. It's just spot on with getting that emotion
hard,
in there.
As much as I don't like the fact that there's not too much gameplay in their games, I don't think there's anybody right now that can tell a story better than these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
People can argue, the Metal Gear guys are doing really good with it. You can argue that Final Fantasy's done really good with their stuff. But right now, in terms of what's going on right this moment, I don't think anybody can top them.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the production behind the story. The actors in it announced that Ellen Page will be the lead role in this game.
Not Juno. Kitty Pryde for the win.
I don't really care. She is a Canadian actress. She is an Oscar-nominated actress.
For Juno, I think. Yeah, it was Juno.
She's won Junos and stuff like that. But she's a really top name actress for this video game. I mean, granted, Martin Sheen, a bunch of people from Mass Effect and all this stuff.
I mean, but this is even I think Liam Neeson has been in. Was in Oblivion that he was in?
Yes, he was. No, he was in Fallout.
Fallout 3. Right?
Yep. But really big name actor, and she is acting in this. I don't care what anyone says.
It's not a legitimate, we're here for the first 10 minutes. She's here the whole time.
This isn't just her voice.
That's big.
She's mocapping everything. She's got her face in there. She's got everything pretty much. She is in this game.
It would be like if a big name actor was actually an LA Noir.
Wait, wasn't there?
No.
They
were still good, but
but the thing is, she's going to help tell the story in ways that a lot of other people can't.
And that will sell a few extra copies for sure, too.
Absolutely, and just because of the mocap, and she can actually bring that kind of expression into her face. But let's talk about the graphics for a second. Amazing! Look at the expression in all their faces. I had to do a double take at the. If you go watch the trailer right now while listening to this podcast, look at the police officer's face. I had to take a double take because I thought that was a real person.
It almost feels like L.A. Noire, but it's without that technology. It's so close.
Yeah, and you know what? This is...
And again, we're going to the uncanny valley here, but the graphics aren't so realistic that it looks like it's a real person, but it does have the reactions of a real person.
It really feels like this is real life. And these aren't scripted, like, just 3D models, really. These characters are completely motion captured. I mean, you're right, there are a few, like, artifacts. You can tell that it is a video game, but if it wasn't for these very, very small things, it would just feel like real life.
Because, I mean, I don't think... It's really hard to compete with what they did there. Because, I mean, we've seen some really bad, like, mouth voice. Yeah. There's been some bad ones. Like, we're talking, like, you know, English translation to Japanese movies kind of bad.
Yeah.
But this was solid.
This was spot on. I thought this was a really cool... thing. The other stuff is this game is going to be a lot more action oriented. They said in their keynote address that the No Heavy Rain was kind of like you're sitting back a lot and watching a movie.
Yeah, it was pretty much a walking quick time event, which was kind of...
This one, they've kind of shown that you do get to take control of an invisible another character. I think his name's Ivan or something. And it looks like you can possess other people and basically use them to shoot stuff up and stuff like that. But yeah, like, what else do you think about this game, Adam?
Even though I don't have a PS3 and probably won't have one, like, I was pretty interested in this because, I mean, when they said Ellen Page, they had my attention immediately because I love Ellen Page, especially in X-Men 3, even though most people don't like that movie. But it looks really good. Again, like, I'm not a big Heavy Rain guy because it was a walking quick time event.
Yep.
But if they say there's going to be more action, then great for them. It's great to see that they're trying to make you feel like you're actually truly part of what you're doing. Because for the most part in Heavy Rain, like, you were making the choices, but you weren't living the choices.
Yeah. And Heavy Rain all ended up into one kind of ending. I hope they learn from their mistakes of that one and that they tell a story that has multiple endings. And each of those endings are just as good as whatever one you're supposed to get.
Like, come on, even a game like Silent Hill is like 5 endings. Some of them are cheesy, but...
Well, let's hope they don't go the Mass Effect route. Let's just say that. We won't go into it anymore, but we'll just say that.
Why do you have to do that? But speaking of things that frustrate me, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Yes.
Again, I don't know if you remember this from the last podcast, but I'm going to revitalize a line that I used. Cough, cough, Super Smash Brothers, cough, cough.
The biggest thing with this, though, is they announced the Vita cross play.
Which is good.
It's awesome.
That you can play with both a PS3 and a Vita at the same time. Yeah. I like that. That's ingenious. I'm sure Microsoft would do the same thing if they had their own portable, but they're smart enough not to use one.
But it's coming out on like both PS3 and Vita, so you can play this as a standalone title. You don't have to be in a house with a PS3, which I think is great. That's awesome to have.
Other than that, we got 2 new characters added too. They surprised at the end, and we called these two.
We knew these two.
We knew Nathan Drake. I don't know if we all thought Big Daddy right away,
but it was definitely on the list.
It definitely made sense. I thought we were going to hear Snake at that, which would have made a lot of sense, or even Raiden because Metal Gear Rising has also been on the idea. Mm-hmm. But I can't complain with Nathan Drake and Big Daddy. Nathan Drake was an obvious, like that. It's like it's almost as obvious as Kratos being there, really. So. Mm-hmm. After that, they released a couple more Vita titles. They were talking how Black Ops will have its own title on Vita, and same will AC Liberation. But they also showed this really cool package. I don't know if you saw that. A crystal white Vita, which looks beautiful. Mm-hmm. If anybody knows the Loading Ready Run crew, Kathleen, who's part of that crew, without missing the beat after that got announced, just goes, I want one. But not only that, but in AC3 Liberation, for the first time, female assassin is the lead character.
Yeah. That's actually really cool, and it looks like a full game, which is going to be really fun, because, I mean, we've seen the PSP titles, we've seen the DS titles.
They're kind of like rehashes and just kind of...
And they're side-scrollers.
Really just compressing it down.
This looks like it's going to be an actual full game that I want to play.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with the Vita, and I've got to say, I am a Microsoft fanboy, you know that, I know that, you guys know that from listening to this podcast, but this whole keynote address has really... kind of turned me on to the Vita as an actual.
I wanted a Vita the second it came out because I'm sitting there thinking, okay, especially because the first time I heard the crossplay was with Major League Baseball, the show 12.
Yeah. And
my first thought is, I could play this on my PS3 if I had one.
Yep.
And say I'm going on a bus ride to a Blue Jays game, so that's why I'm playing baseball.
Yeah.
I could, instead of having to just I'll bring this thing with me and start a whole new thing, I can literally pause the game, save and quit, take it on my Vita. And play exactly where I left off. That's great.
That's amazing.
It's expensive if because you got to buy both these things and both games.
Yep.
That's the only downside. But if you were that committed to a game,
it's no question.
You can justify it.
Yeah, it's no question you're going to pick it up. And I was going to go somewhere with this. But the PS Vita is going to be... It's like the... See, everything's coming back to last year when Nintendo launched Wii U. And I said this during Xbox's keynote podcast, that Smart Glass is an answer to Wii U. Vita is becoming more and more this thing that...
They also announced that they were going to have YouTube on Vita, that they were going to have Hulu on Vita,
Crackle,
like Netflix on Vita, Crackle.
Yeah.
Clearly, if we can see this on handheld...
Oh, man, yeah, absolutely.
Can you imagine Netflix on a handheld going on the bus and watching, like, say, an episode of Lost or something that you didn't catch, or something else?
Well, we have that with our smartphones, but with an actual console, like, this is a console. I don't care what you say. It's got the power to be that.
It's pretty much like a PlayStation 2 in your hand.
And this, like, if you have that crystal clear screen that is a dedicated device, yes, that's going to be the place where you watch it. I think it's great. I'm going to probably pick one up in the next couple weeks, depending on how much my tuition is.
Okay.
But some other things to go on with Vita. They did announce that they're making a few new remakes. We talked about this other one before, but Tomb Raider's coming out, but as well as Final Fantasy VII is officially announced, confirmed, whatever.
No, it's because they're not remaking them. They are re-releasing them as PlayStation 1 classics.
I see.
Because I was going to say, I thought we went through this. They're not remaking Final Fantasy VII. Stop looking at it, fans. It's not going to happen until Square is out of money.
True enough.
But yeah, no, they're releasing a lot of PlayStation 1 classics, as they said, like old Tomb Raiders and old Final Fantasies. So maybe Chrono Cross, my favorite PlayStation game, will be on the Vita, and I might get a Vita to play it again.
There you go.
We're going to quickly run through a couple things because we're already starting to bunch up on time a little bit. I think we're at 17 minutes now, and we've got The Last of Us to still talk about. And my massive fail that I have to bitch about because I'm not going to do a rant on this one because it's not worth my time. They showed Assassin's Creed 3, as we talked about earlier, in Ubisoft's, or I think in EA's or Ubisoft. One of the we got the idea.
Yeah.
They showed naval battles.
Ubisoft. Yeah.
Which looked... my first thought is, okay, it's going to be like some kind of iffy little mini thing. Because, I mean, Revelations, I didn't play Revelations, but I saw the tower defense thing. I didn't like the look of it.
It was interesting.
So my first thought is, it's just going to be some, point and click and it'll be done. It looks intense.
It looks really intense, but I got to say, Assassin's Creed, this is a complete departure from stealth. Like, this is... I know...
Which I think might be a good and a bad thing for it. It depends on how often they do it. I think it's one of those things that'll just be like a quick, 20-minute like intermission to what's really going on, like you're traveling to the next place.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be too big. Like, I know you were questioning, is that really the same guy? Yeah. I think he's just putting on the uniform because it's a captain's uniform. It's a naval uniform. Yeah. You'll kind of stick out like a sore thumb looking like an assassin on a ship. So
yeah, it's an interesting thing, but it does look really, really good. I'll say that.
The other thing is Far Cry 3. They showed that again. That's another one of the games that seems to be appearing a lot. They revealed that the campaign, not, like Spec Ops or Battlefield's little cooperative online thing.
Yep.
Campaign will be 4-player co-op in a shooter. Campaign. That is unheard of.
It's really, it's been done before, but it hasn't been done in a game where you're also going to get a phenomenal single-player game.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And, it really minimal UI, really nice design, fast-paced action. Although I will say that the first-person shooter, like the look of it, anyways, is very not this generation. Anyways, it just doesn't look as polished right now, and that could just be pre-alpha stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, the fact that if it's successful, like, to think that I could literally have 3 people next to me and play through a good chunk of the story. I mean, in other games, it's usually one person.
Yep.
Especially with most games now, like co-op is usually just one other person.
Yep.
And even then, like, it's usually really limited.
Yep.
So if they can get 4 and make it, I put 3 fingers up. That was weird. If they get 4 and they can make it work and make it work sensibly, that's definitely going to be the new bar that they set up for co-op.
Yeah.
Speaking of bars that are being set for not good reasons, though, Wonderbook.
Wonderbook? Why? Why is this a thing?
I thought it was a decent concept at the time.
It's really cool tech stuff, I gotta say, but like,
because I mean, people remember the iPad when it came out.
Yeah,
it's basically they're trying to find something for the iToy to do again. But basically, you get this fake book, open it up, and you can, and it's for kids, obviously, but you can interact with the book and play little mini games with the book and read as it goes along.
Yep.
But the first book they're releasing is with J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter, and it's called Book of Spells.
Yep. It's supposed to go along with Pottermore, which is their online thing. It's basically augmented reality for books.
And it seemed like a good idea at the time. It was just kind of really awkward because there was one section where they were trying to do a fire spell, and the lady who was doing it just kept failing and failing and failing.
The tech is not up to par right now. It's not up to anything else. The iToy is...
I'm sorry.
Come to think of it now, the iToy is almost a 10-year-old device because it was out on the PS2.
It's an old school Kinect, really.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But,
and the Kinect is bad enough as it is.
Yeah, and this requires, like...
I mean, there was that one card game for the iToy that looked really cool, where you would put the cards down and they would actually battle in 3D.
Yeah.
Which was a great idea, which they have good ideas. This one, I just don't think is going to work.
The thing is, the AR tags that they have it's a very backwards way of thinking nowadays, because just living in the reality of Kinect, it doesn't make sense that this technology still works like the way it is.
It's even more confusing because they have the PlayStation Move. Why are you looking at this too?
Yeah.
Have you not noticed that the Kinect's really not doing as well as it should? I mean, it sold really well, but people aren't generally liking it as much as they wish they could.
And this is another peripheral for people to buy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it might not be that much, but it's going to be at least $25, $50.
Sony, they're already buying your Move. Stop pushing this on it.
Yeah.
Kinect's only the one thing Microsoft's pushing. Nintendo's only been pushing their console, and that's literally, there's no peripherals for it. That's what comes with it. Mm-hmm. You don't need two.
No.
You're not going to sell two.
No, it's too much consumer confusion anyways. Next off, I mean, it's a fail, but let's get into the next thing. They're partnering with HTC to bring PS mobile games. They've changed, what was it? It was
PlayStation Suite and changed it to PlayStation Mobile.
Yes.
Very creative.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's cool to see that mobile games on Android are going to get that kind of, that first-party support from PlayStation.
Yeah, it's pretty much almost like a PlayStation certified game. It's not going to be literally made by Sony. I think they're games that are indie studios are making, and they're going to put their sticker on it to say, here, this is a game that you should try.
Yeah, and they're going to make phones, like HTC is going to make phones that are going to have, like, you know, the D-pads, or at least some kind of control that's going to be cool. This is a mobile thing that I think we'll do another podcast about technology about. But this is going to be interesting for the future. We'll see what comes out with the Android stuff. Anyways, next off, God of War. I don't give a crap. I hate hack and slashes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My brother really loves God of War, and I know a lot of people do. But to be honest, and I'm not trying to bash anybody for this, but really, I think most people only like it because there is a lot of excessive blood.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I can't accept this as a game. The camera angles bug the shit out of me in this game.
We've played this game, 5 times now? 4 times?
4. Well, plus the PlayStation Portable titles and all the other little spin-offs they've done.
It hasn't changed since the first one. I mean, granted, there has been features. There has been new things inside it, but it's... And it's like saying, well, you've played FPSs since, like, GoldenEye, so, I mean, why are you complaining? But it's... I just feel the entire franchise hasn't changed at all. I'm
not sure who's the bigger game whore right now, if it's either Kratos or Ezio Auditore. Because both of them have been in games. Like, Kratos was in Soul Calibur. I think he was in 5. Yep. No, he was in Mortal Kombat, too.
Yeah, well, he's in everything. Everything Sony branded, he's in.
Of course, he's in the All-Stars Battle Royale. Yeah. It's just like, guys, like, seriously, I know the only guys who get to be in a lot of games are the guys who have been around for 20 years. Mario, no problem. Yeah. Mario could be in anything for all I care. Yeah. I don't care. He's earned it. He's been there since the beginning. Link's been there since the beginning. Even Samus. Mm-hmm. Or even, guys like Dracula from Castlevania. Even Master Chief's kind of earned that now because he was the first thing from Microsoft. Yeah. Master Chief, if Microsoft right now decided to do their own Super Smash Brothers clone, Master Chief would automatically be the first guy, and he's earned that. Yeah. Kratos, I'm not sure has. I would say Snake. I'm surprised. I know Snake's going to be in it. Yeah. But as far as I'm concerned, and I know I should have talked about this earlier, but Snake should have been there before Kratos. I don't think Kratos has earned it as much as Snake has.
Mm-hmm. Though I think there might be some kind of... This might be my legal mind going off. Like, what if there's something to do with Super Smash Brothers and Snake being in there and Snake being in a Sony game?
Well, I still have to question that because most of Metal Gear has pretty much been on Sony, so Sony's got to own some trademark to it. So I feel like Nintendo might have had to pay off a little bit for it, but I don't know. I'm not a legal guy, so...
Yeah, we'll see what happens with it.
But, I mean, I'm not saying it looked bad. I mean, for the people who love God of War, I'm sure you loved it. But for a guy like me and a guy like you who doesn't like it, it
well,
really
I gotta ask the
anything.
fans, like, do you really want to play this game again? Why don't you just go play God of War 3 over again?
I mean, let's look at what I said earlier. Microsoft. I've never liked Splinter Cell that much. I never liked Tomb Raider that much. But these two games that they showed off this year have changed my opinion.
Yeah.
God of War has not changed a damn thing. In fact, it just reinforced it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's.
But enough about the sad stuff. We get on to the final and what for Sony was the biggest game and could have been the biggest game of E3. But again, Watch Dogs blew everything out of the water.
Yes.
But anyway, The Last of Us.
Wow.
I don't think we're ever going to see until, if they try maybe again to do this, I don't think I've ever seen a better AI interaction.
Yeah. It's really cool between you, the main character, and this girl that you have. The combat stuff was really cool. Just the dialogue between the two of them was really interesting.
I just laughed when everybody went all apeshit because she said, "Hey, asshole," and threw a bottle at him, and everybody's going nuts. I'm like, guys, really? Just because she said asshole?
Well, I think it was more that kind of Gladiator. We want to see crazy gore and violence and stuff like that.
I'm still sticking to "Hey, asshole" because I still remember Snakes on the Plane when everybody flipped out when Samuel L. Jackson said, "I hate these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking
plane." Yeah, I agree with you. But like, I mean, just Last of Us was it's really interesting because there's moments where it's really quiet, really peaceful, and you have to figure out how to like get around certain situations.
So
it's
it really
a platformer.
does feel like Uncharted.
It does feel like Uncharted, but
then all
the
of a sudden
setting
it just
is
goes
completely
wham.
different, and and then the combat just comes out of nowhere. It's really tight, and like remember when you get very limited ammo, and when you run out, like people,
you hear the click of the gun, and all of a sudden the guy goes,
comes
"I know
up,
what that sound is,"
and he starts coming towards you, and that's when she throws a brick at the dude. But it's just the combat's really fluid. It's really interesting to see the dynamic between the two characters that you have. I think it's going to be a really fun story game.
The only part that I was kind of to play devil's advocate, the way that trailer or the gameplay demo worked, I don't feel like that was all unscripted. Because he knocks one guy down, all of a sudden another guy's, without missing a beat, is grabbing him. I feel like there are certain scripted events which kind of, I guess, I don't feel too cool about because the game, it feels like it's supposed to be a spur-of-the-moment kind of game. Like anything can happen at any time, especially with the AI interaction. So for things to flow together that well, it feels kind of weird to me. I almost expect there to be like the odd glitch where the guy kind of just walks in the frame and just has to back out because he gets the bubble bounce. Yeah, that's what it feels like it should be to me because it doesn't feel like it should just be like, oh, all of a sudden, just because you got one guy, all of a sudden, oh yeah, I'm going to come grab you now. Yeah. It feels like it's too scripted to me, and it might even just be me thinking too much about it. But
well, we'll see when Last of Us comes out later on in the next year or so. But I just gotta say, like, in terms of stuff at E3, this is really cool. I mean, I want to see more of this.
Honestly,
I want to see more of these characters.
I didn't expect too much out of this one because I'm thinking, okay, they've done Uncharted. At some point, they're going to have to fail. So I was looking at this thinking, okay, maybe this is the game that it's just kind of iffy. But no, they blew this one out of the park. I was really impressed. I don't know which was better because when Uncharted 2 came out and they showed the part where the building is collapsing and you're getting out of it, that was a sick gameplay demo. I didn't think anything could top it. This is pretty close.
Yeah, this was. I can't wait to see more of this. I can't wait for the actual demo to come out and go over to my friends that have PS3s and play it. But yeah, no, fun times.
Just start knocking on doors. Let me in!
Let me play it! Let me see what it's like. Play the game. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So let's wrap things up here. So winners and losers of Sony's conference. I want to go first this time.
You're ruining the pattern.
You've gone first for the past couple times.
And I know, and I was getting used to that.
So what I'm going to say as my top 3 winners will be... I'm going to say the PlayStation Vita, just flat out, blanket statement. The Vita was really, really fun. Just kind of cool to see all that new tech and all that stuff that they're going to do with crossplay. Next will be Beyond Two Souls. Just because Quantic Dream, I can't wait to see the storyline for this. I want to play that. And then, obviously, Last of Us will be my winner. I'm going to have to agree with some things that we saw or talked about. Wonder Book, complete and utter fail. I cannot fathom even buying that.
I don't think we were supposed to, but just the demo itself, I don't think convinced a lot of people to get it for their kids either.
Yeah, and I'll say like the PlayStation All Stars, the gameplay looks really cool, kind of stuff, and I really want to play a Smash Brothers type thing again, but just because this is a blatant ripoff, it has to be on the losers side. But yeah, you can do your thing now. You can have your stuff.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn, Adam.
Okay, winners, because I already expected what we got out of the Vita, I'm going to let that pass.
Mm-hmm.
Far Cry 3, the potential of 4-player campaign co-op is going to be number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Assassin's Creed 3, number 2 with the naval battles, that really impressed me. And of course, number 1, The Last of Us, there's no doubt. I know you're kind of sad that I'm not mentioning Beyond, but like I said, until I can see that there's legit gameplay in there, I love story, but I want to be able to live it. It's no fun if I'm just literally just watching it. It's like... people love Asura's Wrath because it's very much like a TV show, but that's the problem with me. I don't want to watch a TV show. I want to be the TV show.
Yeah. I think Quantic Dream can't do no wrong.
Of course you can. You're a fanboy.
I am a little bit. Anyways, that was... no.
I didn't do my losers.
Oh, come on.
Not only are you changing the order, but you're trying to keep me away from talking now.
All right, do your thing then.
We got time. Losers, number 3, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, and it's because of the gameplay. The fact that it's about getting points, and it's only 3, I think it was 3 minutes long that it was, the rounds are, it doesn't make any sense, because most of it's going to be by chance, by luck, if you get your super attacks off, because that's the only way you get points. You have to kill somebody with a super attack.
I think we're going to see things like stock.
There might be other modes, but I mean, from what they showed, like, that I don't like that mode.
Yeah,
I don't like it because it's really leaving it up to chance, and it's like how I've never liked Mario Party because it's up to chance.
Yeah,
because I remember I know a lot of people who play Mario Party know this too. If you were the best guy in the entire game, you could still lose by somebody stealing your stars.
It's true.
But anyway, number 2, Wonder Book, again because it was a massive fail, especially with the woman failing the fire spell 3 or 4 times. But my biggest loss was the pre-show. And it's I know it's the first time they've ever done it, but like really guys, like if you want to make a good first impression, you did a terrible job at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that we got some Canadian representation with Sound Shapes from Toronto. I love that we got Sly Cooper in there because I've missed that game, but it just didn't turn out to what it was, and it was a blatant red carpet ripoff, and it just felt weird.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, and again I'll get into this in my rant, but I don't give a fuck about the tester. I don't.
All right, guys, that was our Sony keynote address. We can end it now, right?
We're almost done.
Do you have any more?
We're almost done.
We've been recording this all in one go, so it's been fun.
Number 4 is done. Number 5, last but not least, the last press conference, Nintendo.
We're gonna do that next one right now, I guess. This is DLOpinions. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.